all. Today we would be discussing what have been the joint ventures and acquisitions of India abroad as well as Indian joint ventures. The world is considering India as an appealing investment destination with lucrative commercial incentives and strategic advantages. Foreign companies and investors should seriously consider entering India by forming joint ventures with Indian businesses so as to gain advantage from the inherent benefits offered by an already existing Indian partner with relation to local knowledge, market access, or quick ramp up. Even if India has progressed rapidly, it still lacks management process and cutting edge technologies. With the help of foreign partners who possess such management processes and technologies, significant value can be added to joint ventures in India, where advantage can be taken of the relevant market and local skills as well. If proper planning, partner assessment, and market research is done prior to the process of establishment of a joint venture in India, then commencing the business can be comparatively simple. For pulling off an efficient joint venture calls for identifying and assessing potential partners and relevant markets, setting off specific and measurable objectives, and determining the right format and mode of joint venture. First of all, what is a joint venture? A joint venture means any arrangement where two or more parties get together to achieve a common objective or to run a business for commercial purposes. The arrangement may be on a long term basis, which involves running of a business in a continuous process, or on a limited basis, which involves realization of a particular objective. It may include a wholly new business or an already existing one that is presumed to benefit from the involvement of a new participant. The concept of joint venture is therefore considered to be highly flexible. Any particular joint venture will depend on its own characteristics and underlying facts and on the wishes and resources of the parties involved. To put it all together, a joint venture may be summed up as a business alliance whereby two or more companies mutually share the complementary resources of the partners and put it to use. For enhancing positioning, client acquisition, and marketing, which has stood the test of time, joint venture has proved to be an effective business strategy. The arrangement can be in an informal understanding or a formal contractual agreement between the parties. What have been the important features of joint ventures? First of all, exploiting expertise and capabilities. So, the synergistic benefits will be produced if the parties to a joint venture have experience in various diversified industries or have complementary skills or capabilities to contribute to the joint venture. The principle behind a joint venture is to share the expertise and capabilities of the involved parties on mutually agreed terms. Such sharing of resources allows competitive advantage to the partners entered into joint venture over other players in the market. About sharing liabilities. So, the parties to a joint venture also have an opportunity to jointly manage the risks involved with new ventures. They can limit their individual exposure in a joint venture by sharing their liabilities. The pressure on each individual partner decreases when the risk and liabilities are shared mutually among them. The risks associated with these types of arrangements automatically reduces as the business activities of the joint venture can be increased with smaller investment than if done by financing independently. About leveraging resources. With globalization, access to capital, technological resources, and labor have become a major force for modern businesses to achieve economies of scale. Nowadays, business commitments are far too immense to be carried on by a single company. If seen from a wider perspective, then these days a huge pool of resources are needed to conduct a business which extends from huge financial backup to plenty of experienced and trained manpower. Cross border businesses are more demanding in nature, and the best way to resolve is to either share them by entering into a joint venture or by outright acquiring them. The best way of reducing manufacturing and research costs while limiting exposure is by cooperation. About market access. Joint ventures are turned out to be the most effective mode of gaining market access. Joint venture agreements are adopted by companies to expand their business into various other product markets, geographies, and consumer segments. The involvement of a locally based party may be desirable or necessary in a cross border joint venture, as it is difficult for a foreign company to infiltrate the market or where the ownership structures by foreigners are limited by the local laws. Such as in India, certain relevant market sectors are restricted for foreign investment, and for commencing business and making investments, certain shareholding by a local partner in the company is a regulatory necessity. About business diversification. So many flexible business diversification opportunities are offered to the partners through joint ventures. It provides a way for the companies to enter into non core businesses by maintaining a safe exit option. Many companies adopt joint ventures as a resort to progressively separate a part of the business from the rest of the company and sell it off in due course of time. For entering into a new market, joint ventures may be set up with strategic investors so as to provide the foreign participants with guidance and local infrastructure in the beginning, and with an objective to integrate the functioning of the joint venture into the main organization in the future. Once the venture is up and running, the foreign participants in this situation may choose to acquire the local participants' interest. This can be beneficial for both the involved parties, as the local party gets a liquid exit while the foreign party is able to establish itself in the local market. Why would a company do a joint venture in India? So, an international dimension has been brought by the joint ventures through global proliferation of business and commerce. Corporate bodies across the globe go for cross border alliance in order to share the opportunities, resources, and to deliver cutting edge performance. These types of alliances are designed to focus on the commercial requirements of the parties and thereby differ from a mere transitory arrangement to establish its presence in the relevant market towards a calculated step to go for a full merger of technologies and capabilities of the involved partners. What is the criteria to be met for the successful establishment of an international joint venture? So, in areas like telecommunication, drugs, and pharmaceuticals, advertising, and hotel and tourism, investment up to 74% in a joint venture without the approval of RBI is permitted. Also, more than 74% of the total equity in any joint venture company, if that's the case, permission of the Foreign Investment Promotion Board or the Secretariat of Industrial Approvals must be obtained. So, India is actually ranked as the world's sixth largest economy by gross domestic product in 2017. India also enjoys the world's third highest purchasing power parity as per World Bank statistics. While this country is home to subsidiaries of various multinational corporations, another substantial number of companies are now envisaging upfront and setting up of joint ventures in India. What have been the examples of joint ventures in India? So, India has actually witnessed several successful cases of international joint ventures flourishing since the post independence. The first has been Vistara and Air Asia. So, first example of joint venture in India is a joint venture between Indian corporate giant Tata Sons and Singapore Airlines. Vistara is an excellent example of joint venture company in India with a foreign firm. While Tata Sons holds a 51% stake, Singapore Airlines controls the rest 49% in the Career Airlines. Initiated in 2015, Vistara is the first airline to operate a domestic flight from Chhatrapati Shivaji International Airport's Terminal 2. As one of the most successful joint ventures company in India, Vistara holds around 4.5% share of the nation's domestic aviation market. AirAsia has achieved a similar feat, a joint venture between Malaysia-based AirAsia, Bihad and Tata Sons again. Here, the latter holds a 49% stake in the airline. Headquartered in Bangalore, AirAsia recently has been ranked fourth largest low-cost career airlines in India. The next joint venture is BrahMos Aerospace. So this is another example of joint venture in India, and that is with Russia. When Russia and India came together to make the world's fastest cruise missile that can fly at a supersonic speed of 2.8 Mach to 3 Mach. The word BrahMos was coined using names of Brahmaputra River of India and Russian capital city Moscow. As a joint venture between Defense Research and Development Organization of India, its counterpart in Russia, India worked its entry in the Supersonic Missile Club through BrahMos. In the insurance sector also, we have some successful joint ventures from India. So Bharti Enterprises, India's leading business group, entered into a joint venture with French insurance major AXA, bringing in the phenomenal Bharti AXA General Insurance Corporation Limited. As a leading insurance corporation, Bharti AXA has been operating since 2008, subject to the guidelines of the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India. Bharti AXA indulges in and provides a comprehensive range of products and services related to insurance covering health, vehicle, travel, and education, to name a few. The Japanese insurance company Mitsui Sumitomo Insurance Corporation Limited entered into a joint venture with India's Max Life Insurance Company Limited, provides a good range of schemes including life, health, retirement, and also investment schemes of various kinds. Similar joint ventures was agreed upon by America's largest life insurer, Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, also known as MetLife, and Punjab National Bank of India, resulting in PNB MetLife insurance schemes. A joint venture between Dabur Invest Corporation, a subsidiary of Dabur India Limited, that is one of the India's oldest Ayurveda medicine and cosmetics company, and British finance and insurance provider Avira Group. While Dabur Invest Corporation holds the majority of 74% stakes in Avira India Life Insurances, Avira Group holds the remaining 26%. Avira India Life Insurance has marked its advent in the life insurance sector after Life Insurance Company India, that is LIC India, was demonopolized in 2000. Another example is Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. India's aerospace and defense company, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, that is HAL, is one of the significant economic boosters of the nation. The company is headquartered in Bangalore, Karnataka. Hindustan Aeronautics Limited has the highest number of joint ventures among all Indian companies. The subject of such ventures range from aircraft engines, helicopters, aerostructures, and defense systems and other related products. Joint ventures of Hindustan Aeronautics Limited includes those with Mikoyan Gurevich of Russia, Rolls-Royce Holdings Limited of UK, and Merlin Hawk and Edgewood Ventures of the USA. Other joint ventures between India and foreign companies include Tata Starbucks Private Limited with Starbucks Corporation of the USA, Mahindra Renault with Renault SA of France, Volvo and Eicher Commercial Vehicles etc. VECV with Volvo of Sweden, among others. Through a joint venture in India, companies, local or foreign, combine their respective expertise to provide better products and services pan-world. The number of successful joint ventures in India is escalating every day, coupled with few unsuccessful ones like Tata Docomo, a joint venture between Tata Teleservices and Japan's NT Docomo, which could not make enough profits. Nevertheless, joint ventures in India aid in consolidating the position of the nation as an economic power and industrial major. Joint venture companies in India have flourished a lot otherwise. So there has been another example like Tata Global Beverages. So Tata Global Beverages, that is a unit of Tata Sons, which has various joint ventures in India, bases its production for fast moving consumer goods, that is FMCGs. Now, these joint ventures include Narishco Beverages Limited, which is a 50-50 joint venture entered between Tata Global Beverages, that is now Tata Consumer Products Limited, and PepsiCo of USA, formed in 2010 to manufacture Himalayan brand of spring water drawn from the Himalaya range sources, bottled drinking water with copper and zinc, Tata Gluco Plus energy drink, and Tata Water Plus, which later consolidated all its consumer products business with all branded food businesses of Tata Chemicals. Tata will now be terminating the 8-year-old joint venture by acquiring the remaining stake in Narishco Beverages, thereby making the firm a wholly owned subsidiary. Another one is Tata Starbucks Private Limited, which is also a 50-50 joint venture entered with Starbucks Corporation of United States of America that carries a chain of coffee shops across India. The 50-50 joint venture was incorporated in 2012 and operates Starbucks Cafes, which is branded as Starbucks Coffee, a Tata alliance. Tata Starbucks saw a 27% growth in revenue while opening 28 new stores in the third quarter. Tata Global Beverages has made a profit of Rs 94.2 crores. That is a 5% jump from the same quarter in the previous year. The jump in profits comes despite an economic slowdown in the country. Another example for media is Network 18 Media and Investments. Network 18 is a popular electronic media company held by India's corporate giant known as Reliance Industries Limited. The joint venture Network 18 CNN was established in 2005 with America's Cable News Network, that is CNN, which is a Time Warner company that operates satellite TV channels like CNBC News 18, CNBC Awaaz, CNBC News 18, and IBN 7. Another joint venture entered between TV18, which is a subsidiary of Network 18, with the United States media conglomerate Viacom, called Viacom 18, which operates famous satellite TV channels such as Rishte, MTV, Colors, and Colors HD, etc. When the joint venture was established in the year 2007, it had three channels: MTV, Nickelodeon, and VH1. Viacom 18 was a 50-50 joint venture where at a later stage TV18 paid $20 million to buy a 1% stake in Viacom 18, thereby raising its shareholding from 50% to 51%. Then another example is Indocat Private Limited. Indian Catalyst Private Limited is a joint venture entered with Intercat, whose holders are United States of America. It was established on 1st of June 2006, where the areas of operation are focused on marketing as well as manufacturing of catalysts and FCC additives. Indocat Private Limited is considered to be one of the joint venture companies which plays an important role in the domain of manufacturing and distribution of various additives. Indian joint ventures and acquisitions abroad. Now, these have been the ones where the foreign companies came in India for business and set up their business in joint ventures. Now, India started opening its economy a decade ago to integrate with the global economy. So, several economic reforms have been undertaken during this period with the hope that India will soon emerge as a global player. A review of the developments is necessary because globalization and integration with the world economy is a double edged sword. If necessary, care is not taken, the country may become only a global market rather than emerging as a global player. So the patterns of Indian business ventures abroad shows the development of both subsidiaries and joint ventures over a period of 50 years since independence. The analysis reveals that there has been a significant increase in the activity. The ventures, however, have been concentrated in only a few, that is, about a dozen countries. So, there is a noticeable preference towards subsidiary mode of operation. Furthermore, there are country wise patterns of preferences towards use of joint ventures and subsidiary modes. And there is a significant shift in the mix of activities tilting from high risk manufacturing to low risk trading and software development. It is also observed that there is a wide gap between the number of ventures approved and actually implemented. A comparison between Indian business ventures abroad and the foreign business ventures in India during the pre and post liberalization era and the patterns of export or import ratio in the respective periods indicate that the reforms in economic policies undertaken so far seem to be leading to India fast becoming a global market rather than emerging as a global player. So, there is a need for intensive development of policy and strategic interventions to strengthen India's business ventures abroad and to help India emerge as a global player. There has been examples of Indian businesses forming joint ventures and acquisitions abroad. So the first in Sterlite's $2.6 billion buy. Then Times of India acquires Virgin Radio in United Kingdom for rupees 445 crores. India's Reliance eyes world scale buys, and then Mahindra and Mahindra takes over 90% stake in Sconevis. So, headlines such as these are a reflection of the emerging trend of overseas acquisitions by Indian companies. With the growth of the Indian economy at an average rate of 8.8% every year, it may just prove to be an additional reason which triggers the growth in overseas investments. The data provided by Reserve Bank of India for the year 2006 for the total value of Indian direct investments abroad was 9.7 billion US dollars. So, the latest World Bank report pegs India as the 10th largest economy in the world, and Goldman Sachs reports that India's GDP will top $1 trillion by 2011, treble by 2025, and be $27 trillion by 2025, taking its economy to third place after the US and China. The trend began haltingly a few years ago. In 2000, Tata Tea took over a global economy company twice its size, Tetley Tea, the second biggest tea company in the world. This was followed by SL Packaging, owned by Subhash Chandra, took over Propack of Switzerland to form SL Propack. The merger created the biggest producer in the world of laminated tubes, and an Indian MNC became global number one. But these takeovers remained exceptional events till 2003. Only in that year did the pace of Indian takeovers accelerate so much so as to constitute a new trend. More than 40 foreign companies were taken over by Indians in 2003. Among the Indian companies on a takeover spree were Tata Motors, Ranbaxy, Wockhardt, Hindalco, etc. The trend of acquiring foreign companies was not limited to large size companies. Many middle sized companies have also become a part of this new trend. Sundaram Fasteners has acquired Dana Spicer Europe, the British arm of global multinational. Amtech Auto, another auto ancillary, has acquired the GWK group in UK, which is twice its size. Are some of the few middle-sized companies which have joined the bandwagon. The trend continued with Indian companies shelling out $1.7 billion in the first 8 months of 2005 for acquiring overseas companies. The biggest of the takeovers till date being the Tata Steel's $12.1 billion deal for Chorus, the British steel company. The increased number in overseas acquisitions by Indian companies is attributable to the growing realization that the future growth of Indian companies will be influenced by the share that they can garner in the world market. This is not only by producing in the country and exporting, but also by acquiring overseas assets, including intangibles like brands and goodwill, to establish overseas presence and to upgrade their competitive strength in the overseas markets, which has resulted in the cross border acquisitions. The policy regime in respect of outward capital flows has also evolved in spirit with the above trend. In line with the calibrated approach to capital account, greater freedom is now available to companies to make remittances overseas for their overseas expansion. This is reflected in the increasing global operations of Indian companies in search of global synergies and domain knowledge. Phased liberalization as the policy of overseas investment has enabled Indian firms to establish presence in overseas market on an unprecedented scale, redefining the global outreach of Indian entities. Regarding acquisitions, the overseas acquisitions which started off on a small scale have reached to globally visible levels, with big ticket acquisitions being announced by large corporates regularly. Tata Group, Bharat Forge, Infosys, Wipro, ONGC, Ranbaxy, and such Indian companies are venturing overseas and expanding at breakneck speed. The effect of this trend on the Indian economy has been rightly summarized by the financial minister, Mr. P. Chidambaram, that Indian industry today has the confidence to bid for business abroad, raise resources, purchase, and manage enterprises. So, the liberalization of investment policy has made large outward remittances for overseas acquisitions possible. Such policies have in particular expanded after the introduction of FEMA Act. In March 2003, the automatic route was significantly liberalized to enable Indian parties to fund to the extent of 100% of their net worth, which limit was later enhanced to 200%. As per a recent Federation of FICCI, it was while Indian incorporations, international acquisitions were rising gradually till 2004, the liberalization in the policy regime of outward investment in 2005, which allowed Indian firms to invest in entities abroad up to 200% of their net worth in a year, triggered a sharp rise in cross border acquisitions, with the number of acquisitions rising from 46 to 2004 to a whopping 130 in 2005. During 2007 and 8, 1,595 proposals were approved for investments abroad in joint ventures and WOCs by the Reserve Bank of India, which were higher by 25.8% than approval during the corresponding period of the previous year. All these factors have provided the necessary thrust of the increase in the overseas investments and acquisitions. The joint venture companies in India have prospered a lot. Foreign or local companies combine their respective expertise through a joint venture in India to provide better services and products pan world. No doubt there are many successful joint ventures in India which keep on escalating every day, but there are some popular joint ventures which became unsuccessful, like Tata Docomo. The joint venture of Tata Docomo was entered between Tata Services and Japan's Docomo, which could not make enough profits. In spite of that, the joint venture helps in integrating the position of the country as an economic power and industrial major. These are the references. Thank you for listening.